Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kane. I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And I should say the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, you are family and sometimes participants. Sometimes I share the link. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, please show me that. And then you can go back to that. If you're not comfortable, just know, especially if I've never seen you on here before, you must show me your face so that no one else, you, not even Donovan, until I bring you up to the big screen, rather. Also, comment section is not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. So let's try to be as respectful as we can. Today, we're going to be talking about Reverend Al Sharpton called out for his Costco buy-in foolishness. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit more detail about that. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Nevertheless, let's see who's on here before I give it to Donovan, because I know I'll get behind the comments. Brother Reggie, how you doing? I hope you're having a great birthday weekend and all that. Y'all do me a favor. If you can, go follow Brother Reggie sometime on this show. I love and appreciate you for that. He's trying to build his platform. And anybody else who's trying to build their platform, H. McDaniels, how you doing? Diane, I hope you're doing well. Says, I love this will be, I know this will be epic. Okay. And Clifford, how you doing? Extreme X, what's going on with you? Brother Don, my triple OG moderator. Sister Shirley, how you doing? Tracy, Candy, I hope you're doing well. Lawrence, what's going on with you? Cookie with Miss D, long time no see. Sherry Rice, how you doing? Mike, nice. How are you, Bobby? Hope you're doing well. Who was on a Quincy X and JJ Mars, Cecilia, and Enlighten. I think I got everybody. If not, I will get you on the way back in. So, Donovan, what say you?
Let's say you, it's 3 o'clock here in California. That means it's Demetra K time. Hey, I know it's not the Super Bowl this week. You guys probably are just like, hey, let's find something to do. We appreciate you guys taking your time to come listen to us talk about different topics and have these great conversations with you guys. We know you can be in 105 different places, but you guys chose here. We really, really do appreciate it. If you guys want to continue to contribute to the show, there's a scrolling banner at the very bottom here. The ways you can do it's Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Western Union, MoneyGram, Money Order, Cash. It all helps make the show go faster. Also, please do us a favor. Please, it's absolutely free. Hit that like button and like, share, and subscribe on your platforms, because then that sends the algorithm and it makes them push it out even farther so that more people could open up and enlighten themselves on this great topic. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that at Google Play, Apple Store. A lot of great stuff that's happening over there as well, because what is happening over there is very similar to what is happening here. As you guys know, mass deportations are happening all across the United States. And unfortunately, when we think of deportations, we just think of the Latin people. You always got to remember, they are deporting Haitians, they are deporting Africans, they're deporting everybody that should not be here. And unfortunately, they're also deporting native looking and speaking people that are native to the United States. And I put a video up on my Facebook earlier because I have neighbors that are from here. And it's unfortunate that this is happening. Remember, law enforcement, they don't know the law. They don't. All they know is arrest. All they know is, whatever that 6-month, 4-week thing that they do. There's no way they can know law. They're just not arrest. You've got native people that might have IDs, and that might not be acceptable to the ICE agents or whatever the deal is. So unfortunately, you might have to be detained. Yes, it is incredibly un-American that you have to have ID, papers, please, in this country. But Demetra, haven't we as Black people been telling these other groups what we go through every day? Now you're being targeted for the way you look, and shake down and let me do your frisk, stop and frisk, stuff like that. Now they're outraged and they want us to step in there. Again, I'm gonna keep this as short as I can. I hate when people say this, Demetra. They go, oh, well, Black people are going to be next. They're going to be. No, we're not. The Dred Scott decision said that a Black man's rights cannot be respected by whites. I'm paraphrasing, blah, blah, blah. Be it natural born or not natural born. Dred Scott decision says that we were not citizens. Fast forward to the civil rights. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment applies, just like Donald Trump said, to slaves. That is why we will never be deported, because we are native born and we are here and we are in the Constitution that protects us. So don't fall for that BS. Don't deal with it. It is unfortunate that a lot of these people are going through what Black people went through in apartheid and in the civil rights, the pre-civil rights generation and all that other stuff. But all I can say to my neighbors, you might have to keep some ID on you and go through the process of however it's going to be. 70% of American people are for mass deportation. But let's get into this topic.
All right. Once again, welcome to everybody. Reverend Al Sharpton, of course, you guys know that he is, kind of spearheading the whole DEI, some of it, right? Of course, we know that I think it was last week or so, he did a buy-in where he took 100 members to his National Action Network into Costco, gave them $25 gift cards so they could go in there, I guess, and buy something. And he had a whole press conference and things like that. Now he's supporting Costco, opposed to that of Sam's Club, Walmart, and other stores that canceled their DEI programs, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Of course, a lot of those programs came about when George Floyd was murdered by that of Derek Chauvin. And he had a lot of these corporations that are like, okay, what can we do? We feel guilty. Let's go ahead and do these things, right? DEI is also kind of like a spinoff of affirmative action, which was supposed to give, and I'm going to give it, what it says, minorities, right? A leg up in certain things, whether it's jobs, education, and other facets of America, if you will, because of racism, right? And discrimination. So he led this buy-in, right? We're going to go buy from Costco. Let them know because you stood by us, right? Okay. So this morning, as I was listening to the radio, I was in the car and, Reverend Al Sharpton has a show that comes on here in Houston and all over the United States in certain markets. He comes on for an hour. And of course, he was talking about DEI. And, I'm going to say this about Reverend Al. He just be lying. I'm like, you a reverend? But see, I get his shtick. His shtick is to lie to people who he knows won't question it, because as long as he has that reverend in front of his name, then he can pretty much say anything because people won't question it, right? So he goes on and on about how Trump, y'all remember RIP, those people, the plane crashed in Washington last week, and Trump got up there and said basically it's because it's DEI. And Al Sharpton says, oh, well, there he is blaming Black people. He's trying to put that on us. And I'm like, well, I didn't hear him necessarily say it was Black people, although we now know the pilot, sounds like on both of the aircrafts, were white. So I'm like, I'm going to call in. And I'm going to have a conversation with Reverend Al, because with that, he said, him and Ben Crump, they're going to go down to Altadena, California, and they're going to do this, like prayer visual, and they're going to galvanize the people there because it's a predominantly Black neighborhood and they lost everything, right? He was talking about how there's one family that lost 4 homes in the neighborhood and all that. And he was talking about his Costco buy-in. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. I have questions. So the homie actually did me a favor and recorded it for me. So I'm going to let you guys hear our conversation. You ready? Actually, with somebody that lives here. So I'm going to, and I had people reach out to me. I heard you. Somebody from New York inboxed me and was like, I heard you on the radio.
So Demetra, not only do you actually do these shows, but you're out there walking it like you talk it, like I was at the city council walking it like I talk it. So yeah, big ups.
Yes, for the most part. All right, so here we go. So here, y'all want to hear it? It's a tiny bit fuzzy at the beginning, but you guys will be able to hear it. Here we go.
You want to hear it? Here we go.
Here we go.
Texas Magic 102.1, Demetra.
Hello, Reverend Al. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to say I've been following the whole Costco buy-in thing, and I don't think Black people should be giving $1 Black dollar to Costco until all the houses in Altadena are built. Costco got enough money. They don't need no more of our money.
Well, we're not giving them money. We are shopping where we feel that somebody has stood up for us. And I believe everybody, not only Costco's, I think a lot of people, a lot of companies should be investing in Altadena. That's why I'm going to Altadena. But why would I tell Costco's, who stood up and said, no, I'm not giving up DEI, I'm going to keep the commitment I made on diversity and not charge Walmart or one of them that didn't say that. In fact, said they're going with Trump. So I don't know why you punish somebody to stand up for you. I could see if you call and say, why don't we jump on one of them companies that have dropped DEI and tell them why aren't they building Altadena? Better still, why ain't we telling Trump why ain't he building Altadena? I'll be in Altadena. You know, Trump went out there and didn't even go to Altadena. He went out Palisades and kept going.
All right, so y'all heard that. He basically hung up on me. Whoever is working the switchboard, they pretty much hung up on me after I asked my question, which is why you didn't hear me anymore. But I knew he would do that. He tends to let people who are pro what he's saying ramble, right? But nevertheless, I'm like, okay, so on one hand, you're not supporting or you're not giving money to Costco, but you're shopping there to show them support because they're standing by us. They're, keeping their DEI. So it's like, okay, if you are shopping with them, you're giving them money, right? So my thing was, okay, you talking about Altadena, how they were destroyed. And yes, Altadena was completely burnt down. Of course, you guys know the wildfires that took place in January completely destroyed Altadena, the Eden area where, it's predominantly Black. But like I said, how are you talking about, and Costco was worth almost $500 billion. You heard me, almost $500 billion. And you talking about taking Black dollars in there and giving them more money when the Altadena needs to be built back up? Like I said, that Costco don't need no money. Hell, they should be giving money to Altadena if they care about Black people so much. But there's Reverend Al Sharpton, who is leading a bunch of gullible Black people in the Costco talking about, we gonna support y'all Costco because y'all, and listen, I could be wrong, but I think Costco gonna switch up. I think Costco gonna say we fought the good fight. But these white folks, they canceling us, right? I don't know. We'll wait and see. But nevertheless, he didn't like that. And I knew he wasn't going to like it because you on the radio gaslighting people. And y'all heard how he said, oh, well, Trump didn't go to Altadena. It's like, bump Trump. We don't care if Trump never go to Altadena. We should have us, right? We should take care of us. But Reverend Al, you got a platform. Got a giant platform. You got the National Action Network. You got the television show. You got all your social medias, and you're here and there and everywhere. And you could have very easily got those 100 people together and say, hey, let's focus our efforts to our Black people, our Black family in Altadena. We don't need to go into Costco. We can go to Costco when our people get our stuff together, right? But he didn't want to hear that. He deflected completely to Trump. Oh, I want Trump this, Trump that. And, Trump DEI. Well, the other thing, and I knew he wasn't going to let me get to it, I want to say is, now, Reverend, now you know damn well DEI is not for us. You know that. But you know that you're part of the Democrat machine and you have gotten paid. Let's keep it a buck. Got paid $500,000 for Kamala. One time $250, another time $250, and then you interviewed her, right? So we can say that you're part of the establishment to some degree, but you, in a low-key kind of way, get paid to keep the base angry. Keep the red meat before, especially Black Democrats, so they could be mad and Trump. But see, this is what the Democrats need to also understand. That's how you got to hand it to you last time. That's what Kamala was doing. Trump. It's Trump. What are you going to be doing? So I want to know the same thing from Al Sharpton. What are you going to do? Y'all going to go out there with Ben Crump? What, you going to pray? He said you're going to galvanize them so they can rebuild. Galvanize with a check? Are you going to help them with some of that money Kamala gave you? You know what I'm saying? What are you? And I know Ben Crump is probably got to be worth over $200 million. I could be wrong, but he's probably close, right? So are y'all going to go out there and kumbaya with the Black people at Altadena? Are you going to go out there and hand them some money? Like, what is the plan? But I don't never want to hear nobody talking about we raising more money for white corporations while Black people are still struggling. See, it'd be easy for Al Sharpton to say, we going to do for self. We're going to get on our own feet. He won't do that because he has to go along, and y'all can quote me on this, with the DEI lie, and that is harming Black people. Is it harming us a little bit? Maybe a tiny bit. but not overall, right? So we got to keep calling out this madness, as I said, foolishness when we see it. Now, the next time I call Reverend Al, I'm going to have to change my name. Because I think he probably looked me up too, because when he was going on after that, it's like you got people on social media and they're just on social media just saying stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he might have looked me up, because when I called in, I gave him my whole name. But nonetheless, yeah, Al Sharpton is Charlatan, and he going to keep that until we call him out. Donovan, I'm going to get to you guys' comments.
Yeah, Demetra, I like I said, when I heard you on there, I said, get her off the air right now. But no, but you need to go in there. Real strong black woman. Use your real strong black woman voice next time and disguise it and do all of that. But I'm very proud of you for going out there and asking these questions. Like I said, that these people are not used to a pushback. They are not used to being questioned. They're not used to being pushed back. As you guys know, where I'm at, Ask Assembly Member Jackson. You guys saw I had the paper, the emails. They won't meet with me because he does not want to be accountable for what he did by stopping reparations. And I'm letting everybody in my neighborhood know about it. So very, very proud of you guys. We know you guys, we have got to switch our mindset when it comes to these public servants. They are not the leaders. We are the leaders. Stop thinking, well, he's the leader. He is not the leader. These people, they're not leaders. They are representatives. We live in a republic. We live in a representative government. That means you're a representative. That's it. You speak for our group, and that's it. But again, I'm not surprised that he's talking about that, because like you said, I don't see him talking about using his money. He don't talk about what he bought in Costco. He don't talk about any of that. But that's, you guys, excuse me. I told Demetra today that a good friend of mine in the military with, hardcore Democrat. He's probably watching the show right now because he said he was going to watch the show later when he got home. Hardcore Democrat. He's probably going to be a hardcore Democrat till the day he dies. Had an epiphany today. How did he have an epiphany? The Democratic Party called him and asked him to donate to the Democratic Party. And he had an epiphany that said, wait a minute, you want me to donate, but yet you let this madman get into office under all this BS and whatever. And I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said. You let this madman get into office. You didn't deliver anything for black people. You let the new black media call you out. You ran a sorry ass candidate. He had an epiphany, you guys. Doesn't mean he's going to be a Democrat. But just like you were saying, Demetra, if Kamala had got in there, more black people would stay asleep. Now that we see Donald Trump and the Republican Party running roughshod over everything, right? Doing what they said they're going to do. Now people are looking and saying, wait, why don't the Democrats do that? They get into office and they do absolutely nothing, especially toward their base of black people. So the gaslighting is real. And if the Democrats continue to do what they're doing, it's going to be a long time before we see another Democratic president and things of that nature. But we need to call out the CBCs. We need to call out the Al Sharptons, the pastors, and all this other stuff that we need to do, because the next 4 years is going to be very painful for a lot of people. It's going to be very painful and very emotional. And we have nobody to blame but these Democratic agents like Al Sharpton and all, these Jasmine Crockett's that they talk a good game, but when the rubber meets the road, they're driving on a rim.
Absolutely. Hello to everybody that's come on here. I'm trying to acknowledge everybody. So I'm going to get into the comment section and see what y'all have to say. Sunlight, how you doing? Says this old fossil needs to have several seats. Yeah, it's not the first time I called once before and he hung up on me too. And I'm sure he'll hang up. My daughter gets bad anxiety. She's like, why are you going to call? Stop calling him. He's not going to. And I'm like, I can't help myself. They
might call harassment on you, Demetra. That's what they do. these people that we vote into office, when they don't want to be accountable, they sick the police on you and they claim harassment and all that other stuff. And if you don't know the law, you're going to be afraid of that. Do not be afraid. Demetra, I tell Demetra everything that goes down with me over here. I have been threatened with the police coming to me because I'm asking my representative questions in regards to reparations.
Jason, so you heard, he says, I'm in New York. He says, I heard this live. It was, I knew it was you, and he'd hang up. He hung up on it. Yeah, I heard that one. The next caller to saying we the 12 tribes and this economic collapse is white people's problem. Yeah, I heard that one too. Yeah, I knew he was going to hang up on me. But, I was like, I had to be strategic in how I say it. But welcome. And Chana, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says y'all weren't happy with what he did. You talk about the buy-in at Costco's like, nah, not at all. He's performative. All he does is just go out there and pretend like he's doing something. Like all is New York, from what I researched, I think in 2023 or New York City, it has about 3,500 black businesses. So it's like you couldn't have took $2,500 in any of those black businesses and gave them a quarter. You have to go do that at giant Costco. That's worth $500 billion, right? Yeah, Sunlight hung up on me. Bernard, how you doing? Says Al is not too sharp. Jay says it's amazing how much our people still follow Al Sharpton. Yeah, you notice a lot of them people that call in, they sound kind of on the geriatric side. I'm gonna be nice. Gary Mack, how you doing? Corey, what's going on with you? Let's see. Let me see if skip down a little bit. Brother Damon, how are you? Ricky, how you doing? It says, Heidi, I've been sick of Al Sharpton for years. I think you and everybody else, right? Hey, Brother Perry, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Dana, what's going on with you? Says Al Sharpton is a part of the Black Boule. Yes, indeed. Miss D says we have to remember Tabitha Brown as well as other black products are being sold in stores like Target, Amazon. Unfortunately, the products are being affected by DEI boycott. Yeah, it is. But it's more so of a conversation to get those black products into black stores, right? Get a website or something like that. But as I said about Tabitha Brown, she got to have some skin in the game too. She is not the only one that's going to sacrifice. And the people that are going to sacrifice on the ground level are going to do worse off than her. She's got money. She's doing okay. But don't ask people. I personally don't have a dog in the fight, right? Because I know DEI does not have anything to do with black people. So, if anybody should be boycotting, it should be white women. But I don't know. I think Tabitha will be fine, and to be truth be told, I'm sure there's a lot of black people still going in Target. And when I saw Tabitha's products, they were too expensive for one thing. And some of the chemicals in there are not good for you. So I entertained buying it at one point in time, but I was like, yeah, it's got a lot of stuff in there that I wouldn't want to put in my hair. Warren says, I want to meet you one day. Okay, one day you're going to meet me. We're going to meet somewhere. I don't know where, but we're going to meet.
Yeah,
Common Man.
Speaking of which, you're doing an appearance coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to have all the details for y'all when I get everything, and then I'm going to put it up, and be able to tell y'all a little bit more about it. Very exciting times going on here. Common Man says, they're not shopping for Walmart. He says, Walmart stood by our people during Katrina, and everyone else turned their backs on us, including President George Bush. Yeah, they're mad at this whole DEI thing going away. But again, Walmart is one of the largest employers of black people, believe it or not, so I don't know. Brother Reddy says, pray, pump their gums. He says, bump their gums, more praying, more gum bumping. You ain't lying. That's what they do best. Let's see. Brother Jonell, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So there's always been the black slaver, the slave-minded black person that keeps Candyland booming instead of building their own reality. How does anyone else business help black people more than our own? Why fight and raise money for white corporations that's rich from our backs anyway? Black economics should be empowering black people. Absolutely. I saw a study that says that now it can be reported that black dollars are to the tune of $2 trillion. And it said, I was a Nielsen report to be exact, that if the black community withdraws its money from corporations, those corporations will suffer. But this is the rub. We didn't need Nielsen to tell us that. We already knew that. Now that Trump is in office and people are mad, we can start moving toward black group economics, like for real, right? So I'm excited. All right, so let's see who else came on here. I know I'm so behind. Caitlin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says, did they give out the Nobel Peace Prize during Mary McLeod Bethune era? She should have received that award. I'm not sure. That is a good question. Tanya, how you doing? Let's see who else is on here. Queen Adaya says, good call, Demetra. Good question. They don't want melanated people asking questions. And they let melanated people, they just got to be very seasoned. Dear self, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Y'all going in. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tim, how you doing? Say, what's good, Donovan? All right. Says, I'm here still driving on the road. Okay, be safe out there. Yusuf, how you doing? Dr. Lauren, hope you're doing well. Says, I'm shocked that the conspiracies are turning out to be true. And which one are you talking about? Cool, Keezy, how you doing? Says, on the Democrat plantation is not changing anything. You ain't lying. AJ3, what's going on? Says, don't forget DL Hewlin is Swollen Martin calling out Trump's anti-DEI attack. Yeah, but again, they get paid to serve red meat to the base. Raw, bloody red meat. Here, chew on that. I'm going to keep you mad. See, if they don't keep you mad, then you start to think, right? But when you're mad and you're always frustrated and flustered, you can't think. Have you ever been tried to think when you just like, you're so mad, you can't think. So they have to keep people mad. It's the game. Keep them mad so they can't think for themselves. But while they're mad, we're pumping all this rhetoric and propaganda into them, and we're getting them all worked up because we know they ain't gonna never go see for themselves, right? They're getting all worked up, and we're telling them DEI is against you. Like I said, Al Sharpton told a bald-faced lie. Yes, I said bald-faced lie on the radio and said Trump is to eat that. You know that was about us as black people. It's like I did hear Trump mention something about some dwarves, but I don't know. I don't know if I heard him say anything about black people specifically, right? But again, red meat. Valerie, how you doing?
Yeah, and do you notice that's the Democratic playbook? When they can't run on their record, they deflect and say Trump, 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 Trump. They need to stop that because Trump is now the president for the next 4 years. You can try to impeach him and waste people's tax dollars and all this other stuff. You tried it twice in his first administration, and you still didn't get him out of there. So stop deflecting on Trump. We need to talk about what you're doing. You're doing, not what Trump is doing. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. And Black America, let me go back to your comment. I'll come back. He says, yes, it's going to be painful. We have new tariffs going on, Mexico and Canada. I heard China was supposed to be in the mix too. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But yeah, it sounds like, right? We'll wait and see. Because they said, of course, that's going to, make the inflation go up, make the cost of goods more expensive. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. Perry says DEI never benefited black folks, just like affirmative action. Those programs only benefit white women and other groups of people. Black folks are always last. Yep, we got to keep waking up. Jacoby says Al Sharpton doesn't need to have several seats. He needs to have several Medicare beds. Jesus. Common Man says, now that I know he has a show, he's going to get a call from me. Yeah, every Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Time. So wherever you are, adjust to that. But 8 o'clock Central Time, it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, I just want to address the DEI situation, okay? Do you guys know the military is the only organization where your merit, your individual merit, is what gets you to where you're at? You are not going to be put in a certain position because you're a woman or a girl or whatever the deal is. If you can't make that job, you're not going to be put in that position of leadership or whatever. I used to be an aircraft mechanic. If I was not a certified mechanic through the military, I could not be in that position because lives are lost and whatever. The military is not a training ground for social programs. So I bring that up in regards to the civilian side of things. So now you're in the civilian world. DEI should not be for you to act like a damn victim as a black person, because it's bad enough we could have affirmative action. And when we had affirmative action, which benefited white women, by the way, when we had affirmative action, the first thing people would usually say, or the stigma that we got was, well, he got in there because of affirmative action, not because we got the degree, not because we're better at it or whatever the deal is. DEI has nothing to do with black people. We just need to step our game up and do what we need to do. If you're a person that is willing to take a position because of DEI, eventually your flaws are going to be seen. So we know that as Black people, we can't be doing stuff like that. And let me tell you, people are upset that DEI is being pulled out of the military. It should never have been put in there to begin with. The military is the only organization. It was one of the first organizations where Black people went to, and they were judged based on their abilities. So that's my little rant on it.
Absolutely. And again, I think we're paying too much attention to DEI. Again, does it help some Black people? Yeah, but I don't think it helps enough for us to say, oh, Black Americans, we're really doing well because of DEI. You know what I mean? It's like, I think we, when I say collectively, need to spend more time talking about, okay, bump all that. Let's do for self. Let's make it do what it do. I mean, we got $2 trillion in our community. There's no reason why we should be, listen, this don't count reparations. We're going to get that, right? But there's no reason why we shouldn't be maximizing the money that we have. $2 trillion, but we giving 97% of that away. That's got to stop, right? One who cares, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, let me skip down so I can catch up again. Yes, Brother Jonell says $2 trillion, but Al is advocating for Costco. Clearly, where there is no vision, the people perish. Al can't see nothing but dependency on colonizers. Keep white businesses afloat is leadership. Definitely not Black independence, and we definitely must use our economics for our own to have our own on all levels. You better preach. Samira, how you doing? It says it turns out some of those Native Americans aren't Americans at all. Yeah, I've been hearing some back and forth about that, them being gaffled up, if you will, in the whole deportation thing. Street translation, how you doing? Y'all crazy.
I'm going to address that, though. You got to remember, when we talk Native, it isn't just like Navajo Indians and Cheyennes and, the Native natives. You also have Native Hispanics. Remember, California, Nevada, this was all part of Mexico. So some of those Hispanics are native to the land. So it isn't just somebody who looks like an American Indian tribe. You could be of Hispanic origin and be of the land.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully they get the right people and not the wrong people. All right. So moving right down, I'm looking at your comments. I just want to acknowledge everybody I haven't seen, and then I could catch up again. Emmett Bean, how you doing? So Donovan, please don't absolve the military of racism. Missions Visions, how you doing?
Did I ever absolve the military of racism? I'm just asking. Did I ever absolve that?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure.
I didn't hear it. Mission Vision, how you doing? Dana said that's right. There were women that captained U.S. Navy ships and lost those command of those ships 8 to 18 months later. Okay. Yeah. But then there's some good women out there that are able to lead and all of that. So,
but as a military person and a veteran, there has been a lot, not just women, there's been a lot of men. There's been a lot of people in the Navy, Army, Air Force, whatever, that are in command positions that have been removed. And for whatever reasons, of course, the biggest reason is always loss of confidence in command or whatever. It's usually the excuse. But I would not doubt a lot of these people, just my opinion, were put in these positions DEI.
Multifaceted me, how you doing? Thank you so much. He says, I'm encourage people, get your popcorn ready. You guys are talking tonight, bump DEI. Yeah, it's just another thing to keep us mad. But if you know that's not for us. And we need to really keep having that conversation, because a lot of people really don't understand. A lot of our people don't understand that's not for us. They might have said it was. It is just for us, as Kamala's Black man plan was for Black men. In the fine print, and he wasn't even so fine. It said Black men and others. Okay, it said that throughout it, right? But she's okay, Black men. I hear you don't like me, and I've been adverse to you, so I got something for you. You're gonna be able to buy the weed. We're gonna, be able to let you smoke weed and a lot of, you know what I mean? But it was for everybody else. So it's the same thing with DEI. They gonna DEI us into absolutely more of nothing. You know what I mean? Again, whenever somebody bring up DEI, I say, well, DEI is a lie. When it comes to us, if anybody should be mad, it should be white women. Now, I did a video on African Diaspora News Channel today of a white man clowning white women that voted for Trump, thinking that, DEI had nothing to do with them. But a lot of white women are feeling the crunch of DEI being axed, if you will. So, we just need to keep waking our people up. Just another woman. How you doing? Says yes. There's racism in the military. Okay. And Khalil, he says there was a white woman who took a college to court for affirmative action a few years ago. Yeah, and the Asians did it about a year or two ago with Edward Blum. They went to the Supreme Court and got the educational component of affirmative action out of there, right? You cannot discriminate or admit people into colleges due to race. See, the Asians thought they were doing that to us. It's like, y'all so smart. Why didn't y'all just go then and do some Google search or whatever, see that it wasn't Black people that benefits more from affirmative action. It was white women. And now they said there's a giant uptick in those predominantly white college institutions, because that's where they were trying to get into, right? Now there's even more of an uptick of the legacy students. That means that their parents and their mommy and daddy have money to buy in to have them, go into college. So it's more of them now, because that's who really benefited from it the most. It wasn't us. So they're learning. John Ellis says they didn't cross the border crossed them. Okay. And Clem, how you doing? Says the so-called American Indian has their own government. That is the issue. Correct. Valerie says Native Americans were awarded citizenship just like descendants of slaves were. Can't remember the year, but it was after the 14th Amendment. Yeah, and I would say the American Indian, they have a lot of issues, but I would say they're doing a lot better than we are, And that's a whole different conversation. Brother Reddy says the so-called plan was super disrespectful. Kevin, how you doing? Says Mexico only coiled Texas for only 17 years rather. And in California, 28 years. A lot of people in that area were Black people. Only a few Mexican were there. Yeah. And that's where the indigenous Black people, a lot of indigenous Black people in California, they called them Califians or something like that. I probably messed it up, but y'all would know better than me. Lovely, how you doing? He says, I heard you on you heard me on Al Sharpton's show this morning. He didn't give you a chance to respond back. He hung up on me. I heard doom. I was like, oh, we're done. That's why I had to say what I had to say, like really quick, because I already know he was gonna hang up on me. Hey Reba, how you doing? Common Man says a bite in the butt. Joey, how you doing? He says it's hard for me to distinguish a Mexican from a Guatemalan or a Panamanian. Not me. I could pretty much tell. Says I don't just.
There's a difference. You can tell if you've been around, that culture for a very long time. It's just like seeing a Asian. You can tell a mainland Asian from like the Japanese and stuff. There's distinct. You just got to be around them enough to understand.
Yeah, and you said I just don't know the difference between those people. I guess that's why they're all being picked up. Could be. Let's see here.
Well, no, they're all being picked up, not because they're from Guatemala or whatever. They're being picked up because they crossed the border illegally. That's the only common denominator.
Yeah. I mean, some of it, I don't know. It's like, are they going up to people and saying, well, you look like you could be illegal? I don't know. You know what I mean? They could be, because like I said, when I was in the DR, they thought I was illegal. They tried to snatch me and my daughter up. So I don't know. Maybe they are going off looks. Like they kind of did with stop and frisk. See? You know what I mean? It wasn't a whole lot. It was some people mad about it.
Papers, please.
Huh?
Like South Africa and Germany. Papers, please. You got to walk around with papers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like even with stop and frisk, like they were doing the Black men. They say Black and brown men, and especially in New York when they first got jumped off out there. They were doing that. There's some Black men that said they were stopped 20 to 30 times a piece during the stop and frisk. Now it's like, how do I look like I'm doing something I ain't supposed to be doing? So I guess once you say you look like it, you might want to ask them for, do a little bit more deep dive and analysis. Let me see your papers. Are you a citizen here? Of course, you can say, yeah, but then I guess if you don't have any ID, they'll probably say, okay, well, let's verify that, right?
Yeah, they're going to detain you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny, you guys? They don't want to, unite with us. They don't want to do this with us. And let's talk about our African and Caribbean brothers and sisters. Same thing. They come to this country. We're like, oh yeah, hey, we open the door for you. The more, the merrier, right? Come on. We're all black. What's the first thing that they did? They delineated. They said, no, we're going to form our little Caribbean, little Mexico. They formed their own little towns. They didn't want to be around us, right? We couldn't go into the Caribbean area, or we couldn't go into little Nigeria and these little areas that they made for themselves. But now that all of this stuff is going down toward them, which we've been saying since we've been in this country. Now they just can't believe it. They're in shock. Demetra, what do I say about the white man when people come over here and they want to get all these great benefits and stuff? Don't just come over here for the good stuff. Come over here and get all that the white man has to offer, all the racism and the discrimination and all of that. You just can't come over here just for the good stuff. You got to come over here for the bad stuff as well. But isn't it amazing that now that we've delineated, because they delineate, when we delineate, oh my God, how dare Black people? But when we delineate, oh my God, it's a crime. Now they want our help. It's too late now in the game. We should have come together during the civil rights era when we were opening the door for these people. But 60-something years of slapping it and spitting us in our face, now you want our help because now it's gotten real for you. Black folks, get your popcorn, stay out of it, and just watch the show. It is going to be painful for the next 4 years.
And as I said too, I keep hearing the phrase "get your popcorn." No. Because when we eating popcorn, I see us sitting down. Ain't no time for popcorn. You get popcorn when you deserve to get popcorn. Let everybody else do what they got to do. Put the popcorn down. Let's get boots on the ground. Let's really start, working and all that other stuff. And then we can eat popcorn when we deserve the rest, if you will. Sean, how you doing? It says Al is a house Negro. DEI is to keep white women home so they repopulate their numbers. But it is enough who are on board to create businesses. So I think he meant enough of us. Who are on board to create businesses to serve our needs. We've been complacent for too long. See, I should have read your comment. No popcorn right now. We get the popcorn when we actually move the ball, right? Perry says, I've been around lots of Hispanics and Asians. I can kind of tell the difference between them also. Yeah, I can too. Queen Di says they have to show their papers, have papers, won't deport. Got you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
And again, I agree with you, Demetra, about the popcorn. We shouldn't be stagnant about that. But what I'm basically saying is stay out of it. Do not catch a case for people who when you needed help, wouldn't give a damn about you. Do not catch a case. Stay out of that situation. It has nothing to do with you.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to, just kind of make sure we know we ain't just sitting down eating popcorn all day. We actually being active, right? Sparky, how you doing? Says, poor man, don't go too hard on Rev. Remember, he saw and went through some hell on the front lines in the 60s. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I guess kind of sort of. I'm not going too hard on Al, but I think we also need to have a conversation that those people who went hard. And yeah, Al used to give them hell back in the day, right? But a lot of times it just buy in. They say, you know what? Because, come on. If Al was doing what he was doing back in the day, giving him hell, MSNBC wouldn't have given him a talk show because they know he then watered it all down. Okay, certain things I ain't going to say. I'm going to go hard to paint for the Democrats and all that other stuff. So he just bought in, Sometimes it happens like that, unfortunately, right? Valerie says they handed out those driver license and it told them you were illegal. Okay, got you. Multifaceted says so true. The Caribbeans act funny and Africa has yet to apologize for selling us out. Some of them have. Some of the countries in Africa have made apologies. Tyrone, how you doing? Said DEI and affirmative action were cover-ups for the fact that the reason why you survived and furthermore why them folks survived is because you're very highly capable. Okay. And Jason says false. In New York City, Caribbean people live in the hood with FBA, unlike Africans, and everyone from the Caribbean got stopped and frisked with FBA. Oh, absolutely. That's why I say black and brown. I'm not saying just black American or brown as far as Mexican as Puerto Ricans, all that. Yeah. So I know 100% yes. Because white supremacy ain't saying you Jamaican. I'm looking for the black Americans, which is why I think that whole argument is a little bit silly. I get the delineation thing, but white supremacy ain't checking for you, what part of the world you come from. If you look black, you're black to them, and they need to gaffle you up for whatever reason, right? So yeah, Mission Vision says facts. It says facts. Why get half an apple when you can get the whole damn thing? Yep. And Common Man says, I never got stopped and frisked. He says, but then again, Demetri, I look like a cop. Maybe that's due to all these years in the Army. Could be. And you're very lucky that you didn't, right? Perry says, help us, FBA. Please help us. We need each other now. Nah, I'm good on these people. Okay. Khalil says, stay away from the Yankees or stay away from the Akata. Yeah, that I know Akata is not supposed to be a good word. And I know that's used for I guess Black Americans. So yeah, I don't think that's nice to say. Valerie says popcorn just means stay out of it. Yes. Absolutely. Cooking with Miss D says white men want their women to be president and bring up those low birth rates. Yes, low birth rate is a thing. And it has been for a while. People ain't really having babies like that. It's like, you think they ain't having babies now? Just wait till the economy keeps getting worse and worse. They said a lot of young people, millennials, and people around that generation, they're like, we ain't having no kids. We can't even take care of ourselves. Most of us are still living with our mamas and daddies. What we look like having some children. So what we'll do is this gig work, whether it's Uber, Lyft, whatever, make our little coins for the day, pay our bills, maybe go out every once in a while. And when things get better, we'll think about having children. But the median price of a house in California is $800,000. I can't work at Amazon or Taco Bell or nowhere else and afford a mortgage. So anybody, they're getting smart. You bring children into the world when you can afford to take care of them. And they're like, a lot of them were like, we're just not doing it. So.
And you got to think about it. A whole Black neighborhood got burned down, right? Under the old construction codes. How can these people rebuild? Do you know, I would say almost half of that community, those people will be leaving. They will not be rebuilding. They will be leaving because they do not have the resources to rebuild, and the insurance companies are going to give them hell. So again, a whole Black neighborhood razed to the ground. I don't understand it. I mean, I understand how it got razed, but even some of the rich folks, even though they live a little bit out, even not all of their houses got burned down, but the whole Black community got burned down. Half of those Black people will be leaving the state because there's no way they can rebuild in California. Demetra, even if you wanted to rebuild, wait, let me ask you this question, Demetra. You're from California. Have you ever heard of an average person, be it white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, building their dream house all to themselves?
Some
average
of
person. No, average person. Just average person. Just the average person.
You said the average Asian or Hispanic building
no, just the average person in California. Just the permits are expensive. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm, for what I understand, Gavin Newsom put a moratorium in, I think for like 6 months or so, saying do not bother any of these people about buying their homes or any of that stuff. If you do, you're going to get sanctioned and go to jail. So you developers don't even try it. So that's good, right? I just have a little bit more faith in that community will rebuild. I'm hoping that they do. There's a lot of history there that's gone. Tim, he says, correct, Demetri, as soon as that informant got the job at MSNBC or MSDNC, that's funny, I knew he sold out. Yeah, because, they ain't trying to be giving somebody that's going to really be speaking truth to power, which is what he says. We're speaking truth to power. Is like, no, you're not. Hey, Angela, how you doing? Thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for the donation. Thank you. Queen Adaya says, melanated people should mind their own melanated business, stay in your lane. They set up programs for themselves, and melanated people were an afterthought. Yep, they use us, to be racist, to say, oh, we're benefited from it, but we know we're not. King of the Earth, how you doing? It says, in the actual history of an Ashkenazi who didn't speak English used the word for stupid, and some dummies thought it meant black. Got you. And Casual 42, how you doing? Enlightened says all driver's license have to be the real ID. Yes, by the May of this year. You're absolutely right. So the real ID driver's license has a symbol in the right hand corner. It requires presenting that you are a citizen. Yep, I have mine.
Yeah, but guess what? The real ID didn't stop these illegals from getting on planes and stuff. They didn't have no ID at all, and they were still flying. But they make us get IDs as Americans. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, Kamala and Biden told them you don't need to. Just come on over here, work everything else out, right? Brother Jonelli says, Reverend, a need to get the proper vision or retire from the position of leadership, because if the blind leading the blind, we are fall. It will fall in the ditch. We got to be more intelligent as a people. Our lives and children's lives depend on it. We got to stop being fools for slaughter. That blind, house-minded slaves are a guide for it. You're absolutely right. That's what our job is, right? To resurrect the dead, and that's what we're doing. Brother Don says, when the poll jacks you, they don't ask if you're black. They don't, or what kind of black are you, right? Chantel, he says, yes, Al was for his folks until he seen folks wasn't for themselves, so he gave up, just as Kanye West gave up, and now everyone wants to believe him when he's no longer invested. Now, you know what? I would buy some of that. I totally could see that point, because a lot of times people, they say, well, why bother, right? And Farrakhan talked about it all the time. He was like, the hard as I've been working, long as I've been working with black people, he hasn't given up. I'm sure that Farrakhan has probably been offered all kind of deals and money, all kind of stuff to, go away and water down the message a little bit, not sound so like you're waking black people up. But, whenever I think about somebody like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm like, there's no reason why I should be getting tired. Yeah, it gets frustrating sometimes, but it's like, nah. That is the example, and we should strive to be, in it just as dedicated as he is, and if not more, right? So long live Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Rashawn says, I have to disagree with you, my brother. Most Caribbeans live in black communities from the Northeast to the Southeast. Some more of the Caribbean people should learn more about Black American history, okay?
I agree. But my point is they delineate. At the end of the day, they delineate. They do. But when we do it, it's a problem, it's bad, whatever. They delineate. Africans delineate. You can go to an African neighborhood, or you're none of my tribe. You didn't, that's just how they're built to do. They delineate. If you're not Caribbean, they will let you know you're not Caribbean. Simple as that.
Sister Shirley says, what did Dr. Frances Cress Welsing say about low birth rates? Absolutely, she said a lot, but she also said that they were afraid of genetic annihilation, which we kind of see that going on, right? The ISIS Papers is a good book. It's a hard read. I need to read it again because I just kind of going through it. But it's one of those books. It's like I need to take my time and read it. So I actually need to read it again. You know what? I got to get it again. I gave it to my father. In fact, my fellow says, I know many Caribbean brothers that are ready to put in work with FBA against white supremacy when it pops off. Absolutely. I'm staying out of that whole conversation right there.
Yeah, Miss D has a question. She says, Donovan, is it true air traffic controllers are being physically trained while on the job? I'm not sure what you mean by physically trained. Do you mean like on the job training and stuff? No, I would not say that. But in aeronautics, you do have your formal training, like you're in school and stuff. Then they take you to the CBT, the computer-based training. And then when you get into the tower, yeah, you still have oversight, like somebody over you training you as you're actually doing it. Aeronautics has always been like that. Even as a pilot, I can train Demetra. She can learn all the book stuff, all she wants. Take her to the CBT. She looks great in the trainer, in the simulator. Then I got to take her out there to the real airplane and actually still, see, it's called seasoning. You season them up. You season them up so that to get some real world experience. So yeah, in aeronautics, I would think that they still do that. They still physically train people seasoning within the tower. They just don't say, here's your degree, go ahead and do that. No, there's somebody that's going to be there that's going to train them while they're sitting there.
And Chantel says, yes, but everyone is not as strong as Farrakhan is. I totally agree with you. He says, I sometimes want to give up, but my love for us won't let me. So I just cry. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, most of his life, he's been fighting for the liberation of Black people. And, the part about that makes me sad is just like with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Imagine if Black people would have listened to him back then. We wouldn't be in this situation. Honorable Elijah Muhammad kept saying separation of death, right? Let's be separate. Let's do for self and, know who you are, knowledge of self and all that other stuff. But we chose, and I say we, I mean our ancestors chose to go integrate, right? We wanted to be with them. We didn't want knowledge of self, right? We wanted to go be hanging out with them and be accepted by them. But if we would have followed the messenger, my God, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. And then, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been basically just repeating the same thing that he learned from the messenger. And, here we are still struggling to be who we're supposed to be. Even if you go back to the days of Marcus Garvey, set up, you not mighty nation, accomplish what you will. And he was working toward that. We were all working toward that, right? Well, not all, but a lot. Had 3 to 6 million Black people all over the world working toward that. Of course, we know what happened with it. So at what point do we, listen? It shouldn't be that hard. Now we're starting to understand, though, that, if we listen to those who got the blueprint and are walking us through that, then, we'll be better off. Well, we're learning that the hard way, too. So absolutely, though. Stephen, how are you? Hope you're doing well. And tell your beautiful wife we said hello. He says, I don't see many Mexicans doing yard work anymore. Well, I have a Black landscaper, so.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. It's the weekend, and usually in my neighborhood, somebody's blasting the mariachi band and stuff like that. It's been awfully quiet, Stephen, in my neighborhood. No parties, no nothing going on. I mean, they are keeping a low profile. Look, even the Mexican flags have been unfurled and put away. I don't know what's going on.
You know what? I ain't seen too many of them either. It's been kind of quiet in my neighborhood too. But let me knock on wood, because they sometimes, it's whatever. It's just part of the neighborhood, right? Yeah, Cooking with Ms. D says, facts, we would be very wealthy people. Yep, if we only just followed the instructions. Yes, he says, the late Dr. Khalid Muhammad, absolutely. We'd listen to all of that. We'd be better off, but we're learning the hard way. It could have been so simple, Thank you, Corey, for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. And Brother Perry, thank you for the Cash App. I just much appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just another woman says, it's happening the way it's supposed to. There's a reason for everything under the sun. That I will not argue with you on. You are absolutely right. Everything is happening the way it is for a reason. Just like Trump being in office, right? A lot of people are like, oh my God, it's so terrible. And I was like, well, what's really terrible about Black people really starting to wake up and say, hey, we all we got. Let's work together. Of course, there's this whole and happy Black History Month. I forgot to tell y'all because I celebrate Black History every day. But there was this conversation. Oh, Trump's getting rid of Black History Month. So he puts out this memo yesterday. Of course, I'm laughing. Trump is a funny guy. He puts Tiger Woods in there, Clarence Thomas, and it's like, okay, he's trolling, obviously, I guess. He put Harry Tubman, Frederick Douglass. But so I put it up and I was like, so are you guys happy now? For those of you guys that needed validation to celebrate Black History Month, are you happy? Because it's like, why do you need them or anybody to tell you to celebrate Black history? To me, it's a silly conversation at this point. How can he take away something that he never gave you? First of all, it was Dr. Carter G. Woodson that he came up with it, Black History Week. Then it was Black History Month. And that was back in the early 1900s, right? So there was a lot of Black history then, but all the Black history from then till now, we don't need their permission to tell us when to celebrate us. See, that's why I'm glad. One of the reasons why I'm glad Trump is in office. Not because I like a lot of the things he's doing, not because I'm a Trump supporter, because I'm not, but I like that he's in office because it's waking us up. Do you guys not realize that if Kamala got in there, we'd be right back to sleep? Matter of fact, we'd be taking a coffin dirt nap. That's how comatose we would have been. Because a lot of us believed, especially when Biden got it, oh, everything's okay now. And we went back to sleep. We forgot that, no, we ain't supposed to be asleep. We're supposed to be awake and thriving and doing everything else everybody else is doing. So it's a blessing she didn't get in office, not only because all the shenanigans she had going on, but because out of her mouth, she says, I'm not going to do nothing specifically for Black people. Do you think she was going to change her mind when she got in there? Now, listen, I don't want to have a conversation whether she's Black or not. I have my suspicions. I don't think she's as Black as she's saying she is. And Candace Owens kind of debunked that. But she's going on the premise that she's just Black woman. She's Black. Everybody's co-signing that she's Black. But you're telling Black people no. See, the one thing about Obama, he didn't tell us no because we never asked him to do anything. We just said, oh, Obama's Black. That's good enough for me. We gonna hope and wish, because he was selling hope and change, hope and change, and hope and change. And we was like, yeah, we're gonna hope and change. But as Ann Coulter said, He never defined what it was. And we never asked him. So Obama, yeah, he duped us twice, right? So Kamala, you would have thought she would have heard the conversation, right? Black people mad because Obama left them hanging, didn't give them nothing. But she, first time, I'm not going to do nothing, just, right? Then she gets in there. When she saw that she had a black man problem, I'm going to get something for black men. Then they asked her, no, what do you think about reparations? And Al Sharpton, that one time, I think it was the last time, they kept playing that over, right? So it was, I'll support the study. So you would support reparations. She's, she didn't give it a full-throated conversation. So what I'm saying is, I know a lot of people are scared of Trump. Whatever. You survived the first term. I think you'll survive the second one, but it's a good thing. Because when is the last time? Listen, I'm a 70s baby, okay? The front end of 1970 is 71, okay? So I'm old, right? I grew up in the 90s when we was, proud to be black. Public Enemy, in the 80s, started waking, and I don't know what happened with Public Enemy, but that's a different story, right? They didn't bought into the Democratic nonsense.
You were down for BDP.
Yeah, all of that, right? With all of that.
X-Clan. How many of you guys remember X-Clan?
Yeah, all of that. But I grew up in the 90s when music started to shift. We were conscious. We were wearing medallions. We're not so much the gold robes and all. Like, we was very conscious. Red, black, and green. I know that's a touchy subject now, but I'm just telling you I was there. Red, black, and green. We was very pro-black. And then they brought in the nonsense music, right? And our consciousness got kidnapped, if you will, by the low-hanging fruit. So I say all that to say, we are now in a time where we are reawakening, when we're starting to say, oh, I don't need to spend money at these giant white corporations that ain't necessarily for us. Let's put some money in the black community. Oh, they're taking away black history, but guess what? They can't take it from us if it's in here. If it's here, it belongs to us. See, the other problem too is, I'm glad Trump is in office, and I don't care. Somebody can record me and say this, whatever I said, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad, because before we started having this conversation, Target, Walmart, and all these other corporations, Black History, walk in there right now, and they're going to be selling Malcolm X on the t-shirts. Y'all know goddamn well Malcolm X was Public Enemy #1 back when he was alive, but now he in t-shirts and Target. Some of these white corporations are profiting off of black people for Black History Month. Like I said, I would rather sip cold Crisco through a straw before I give a white corporation money for a t-shirt with Malcolm X before I give it to a black t-shirt designer. See, that's the conversations we need to start having. And it's good, because we weren't going to have that conversation when Kamala was in there. We were going to get caught on, she's a Sauron, she's an AKA. They swore in on Martin Luther King's birthday, and Ketanji Brown Jackson was a devil. We was going to get sucked into all of that. And then we were going to watch Kamala open those border walls and doors as wide as she can and let everybody come over. And then snarky Brandon Johnson there in Chicago was going to feel even more emboldened as he's listening to Black Chicago and say, we don't want them in our neighborhoods. And he's going to say, too bad. He's saying it now. But imagine if she was in office. So I'm glad that Trump is in office so we can wake up and stop the foolishness. Again, I got a lot of people I'm friends with on my timeline. When I post something, it's like, shut your mouth and get in on this awakening. You the main one that need to be awake. If you're complaining about any of that other stuff, and like I said, no Republican or nobody else would take those books out of the schools if they knew you had them in your home. They would not be talking about taking away Black History Month if they knew you had knowledge of self. If you was teaching your children knowledge of self, because it wouldn't be a threat. See, it's a threat when, and if you think I'm lying, go to any school library right now and say, I like to check out the diary of Anne Frank. They're going to go, oh, we got 100 of those copies. You want one or two? Right? So they're not taking those books out of there. They're taking out the books because they think maybe one day one of your children are going to open up those books and learn some about themselves like Nat Turner did. When he read that Bible and he read what Massa was keeping from him and he did a revolt. See, they don't want that to happen. But if they knew you was teaching your children at school, they'd be like, leave the books. It's to no avail. They're teaching those books. I got it. Hold on a second. They're teaching those books at home. So we're gonna leave them in the libraries. But see, this is what Trump's biggest mistake is. Trump, the Republicans, white supremacy, or anybody that thinks like him, they should have never woke black people up. They should have never tried to say DEI was for us, because now we learning it's not. Because a lot of times people were thinking affirmative action, DEI was for us. It's for us. Is it really? Oh, it's for white women. See, we would have never known that as on a larger scale. You would never have Hillman talk on TikTok where all these black women got together and they got this HBCU going on TikTok where you can learn how to do a whole bunch of stuff. They got black male professors too, but we would have never been talking like that. We would have never been talking about educating our own if Kamala got in office. So why you mad and you scared and you hiding under a bed because you think Trump gonna do something to you? You need to be glad he's in office, and that all these races is coming out talking about, getting rid of stuff that's for us. We got $2 trillion, $2 trillion in the black community in America. How in the hell are they gonna do something to us if we keeping more of that money with us? See, then when we start keeping more of that money with us, they got to tap dance and do what we say do. But as long as we keep crying and getting on our knees and telling them, you need to include me, with $2 trillion, you know what the hell you could do? You could build all the corporations you want. And guess who's going to be asking you for a job? Them. I just hope we're clear.
Yeah. Hey, let the church say amen. Amen. You're cooking on that one, sis. But also, what I like about the fact that Donald Trump is in there is, yes, the civil rights generation, God bless them. They're going to be, some of them are going to be who they are, but there's still a lot of them out there that as militant as they were in the 60s. And you can see those folks right there in Chicago and all that stuff. So I'm not taking anything away from those folks. But let's be real. That generation is slowly passing away. So the Democrats have to re-look at their political situation where they're at. That is no longer a reliable group to lay your hat on. Those people are going away and they're doing what they're doing. And it's also waking up a lot of our people in our community. When you see people, especially, I'm gonna talk to the ladies right now. Ladies, when you see a grown-ass man that is telling you they afraid of Donald Trump, they afraid of this, they afraid of that, I think you need to reassess your situation with that man, because his number one job is protection. And ain't no orange man gonna sit up there and tell me something that, oh, baby, I don't know, we gonna end up being in slavery. If that man is teaching your children to be afraid of the world that they are going to have to thrive in, you might want to reassess your situation with that relationship. And fellas, if you got a woman that is telling you not to be a man and not to stand up for what you think is right, you may need to renegotiate your situation with that woman.
Absolutely. So yeah, and I'm trying to acknowledge everybody. Gary Smith, how you doing? When I went on a yes, poor righteous teachers, Brother Jonell. That's what we are,
Rock this funky joint.
Right. Them brothers was on something, But yeah, so we just gotta keep waking up. But like I said, I know some people are hurt, that their Kamala didn't get in office, but she wasn't supposed to. She wasn't supposed to get in office because at some point in time, black people are gonna have to wake up. We have to. There's no reason why we should still be in the state that we're in. This is a great time to be alive, whether we know it or not. Stop being afraid. Get in the game, and get next to somebody who knows a little bit more than you do. Get that knowledge and then go teach it to somebody else. It's just that simple. But the scaredy cat stuff, it's got to stop, because that's what your Al Sharptons are for. That's what your Roland Martins are for, and all those other people. That's their job, is to keep you scared. And it's not right. If you ask me, I think it's abusive. That Al Sharpton and Roland and all those cats, your Rickies and your DLs, I think it's abusive that they do that to black people. Because you know what? Most black people are just looking for some hope. Most Black people are just looking for a solution to what is going on in the world with Black people. And instead of them being the voice of change, they're the voice of keeping them scared. It's the same thing with the pastor in the church. If the pastor told you we practice group economics, don't stop coming in here sowing a seed of faith that you ain't got. Take that money, or let's take this money and build, right? If they start talking to you and telling you the truth and stop freaking you out in church, they know they wouldn't have a lot of people in there. And he know, or she know, she wouldn't be having these Lear jets and these Gator shoes and these double R cars. And, you know, they wouldn't be having all that if they wake you up and teach you to have faith. See, as I read in the Outwitting the Devil, says that faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. So with that, you have all your Reverend Al's and you have your DLs and your Rollins. They're keeping you in fear by backdooring, saying, oh, we need to have some faith. And they can't exist in the same space. So for those of y'all, and I'm not telling you who to listen to, it's your right. But those of y'all who listen to those people, and I asked y'all this before, next time you listen to them, say, what is the tone? Are they really giving me some information, or are they just keeping me pissed off? That's not good for us. We need solutions. But it's an abusive relationship that they have with Black people. I listen to Reverend Al and my blood boils, and my daughter sometimes forbids me to do it. She says, why do you listen to it? You know he's going to lie. You're just getting mad. I'm like, I know, but I'm hoping that somebody call and like a gangster call and say, Al, stop lying. But they don't. It's all people that think like him. So you gotta also remember, they make money by keeping you scared. They don't get paid by keeping, they need a customer base. It's like the doctor. The doctor could say, stop eating so much, exercise, drink water. Oh, you sleep 3 hours. How about trying 6 to 8 hours? See, if they could tell you all of that, lay off the sugar, take these vitamins. They can tell you that. But if they tell you that, they lose their job because they have no customers. So they keep you on the precipice of feeling better, but not well. Same thing with people like that. We got to keep that in mind. Who are you listening to? Are they keeping you angry? Or are they giving you solutions? I think they're keeping you angry because that keeps them buying grandma cookies.
Yeah. And my question to you, Dimitri, is what logical person is going to be mad at a man that they will never meet and is not going to pay their bills, and you got bills due tomorrow? How does that change your life, being mad at these people who aren't and refuse to do anything for you? And you know what really chaps my hide of all this? We still got people out there talking about, well, what the Republicans going to do for you? Nothing. They didn't promise me nothing, and we don't vote for them as much as we do for the Democrats. So why the hell would I expect anything from a party that doesn't do anything for me? But yet I can give my vote 90% plus to a party that doesn't do nothing for me either. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, how you doing, Sound Man? He says, facts, we scared look stupid better, be stupid than scared. And you don't have to be stupid if we wake up, right? And we're doing it. So anyway, I'm gonna go down here. Brooklyn Best Eye, how you doing? He says, Auntie Dimitri need a cruise or something. She's working hard tonight. I like cruises. I absolutely do. Let's see who else is on here before I get out of here. I thank you, everybody. Let's see. God is intellect. How you doing? I think that was everybody. If I forgot anybody, Lee Hall, he says, pay your bills. Pay. He says, your bills, your problem. And our brother Donnell says, the real question has always been, what are we going to do for ourselves? Our Black children deserve a true future. Yes. Sometimes you got to turn off Reverend Al, Roland. You got to turn them off. They're not going to, and they got giant platforms. They got a lot of influence, but they're just not going to give you what you need, because then they stop eating. Like I say all the time, I have almost 22,000 subscribers. I probably would have had 200,000. If I do the foolishness, I'm not going to do it.
Stand up, Demetri. Stand up.
No, I ain't gonna do that either. But the point is, you know, sometimes you just got to keep the main thing. And I tell you what, I learned this from Brother Phil, you know, and he said to me, he says, just, you know, stay the course. Do what you do best. All that other stuff, people doing the antics and the shenanigans, not all that stuff it's trendy, right? So stay the course. Do what it is you do. And I took that advice. And to this day, I take that advice because there's a lot of people who are going to be doing the silliness to get subscribers and views. But then it's after a while, where do you go from there? I don't know if y'all remember. And I use this example not a lot. I probably should find another one before I go. Thank you, Clifford. Amber Rose. Some of y'all might remember when Amber Rose, she was on Instagram and she put her bare lady part on Instagram. They took it down right away. But I thought about that. I'm like, where do you go from there? Nobody's going to listen to you talking about, let's solve world peace. Let's talk. Like, what else is there to talk about? You know what I mean? So I always thought about that. People will stop paying attention to you when you do the foolishness. Okay, I don't really want to hear you talk anything serious now because you've done all the nonsense. And it was funny for a while, but so stay in the course. That's what I plan to do. I'm going to bring the knowledge and the truth as I know it. Never going to intentionally lie to y'all, you know, or mislead you for likes or views or none of that. I'm going to try to keep as honest as I can. And if I do say something wrong, it was never on purpose. And I do a lot. I say things wrong sometimes and I have to do corrections. So just want you to know that.
Yeah, I just want to add, just before we go, I think that the best thing that we need to do for our people, and I'm serious about this. You guys see me flashing these books. I'm reading a book called The Last Manchu, the story of Henry Puyi. Big JFK conspiracy, Crossfire by Jim Mars. Message to the Black by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I read these things over and over. If you're reading the Bible, whatever. It's one thing for us to read. But the biggest problem that we have, one of the biggest problems that we have in our community is our children can't read. And we know, their parents might be busy working or just being foolish. If you're a grandparent, please take the time to, when you're done spoiling them kids, please take the time to read to them for an hour if you know that their parents aren't doing it. And also a big thing in our community is dual immersion programs. Our children across this 20 million, so they say, illegal people have come into this country. Most of them have come from the Latin countries. We need to teach our children Spanish. A lot of our children are at a disadvantage because they cannot speak a dual language. It is very important. I have teenagers here in California, my nephew being one. He goes out looking for a job. And even though he's a good, clean-cut kid and all this other stuff, he is not being hired, according to my assessment, because he cannot speak Spanish. You're in California. A lot of your customer base is going to be Spanish here. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's not doing that. So we have to be proactive versus reactive. If you're in a school system that doesn't have a dual immersion program, starting from the second grade, you need to get down to the school board and bring that up. Read to our children. Our children are being disadvantaged by our own hands, and we're not even seeing it because we're too busy smoking our weed, going to the club, doing whatever we do. Don't get me wrong. I understand we got to do what we got to do, but Demetri doesn't stay up here because she's going to benefit. She's staying up here putting this message out because she's got nephews, nieces, and hopefully grandkids one day. So we really got to do that. We really got to get our children reading. Take those damn tablets out of their hands and give them a book. Thank you.
Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. We love and appreciate every last one of y'all. And Gary says, my goddaughter, 16 years old, lives in Chicago. And man, oh man, it's crazy, especially with Brandon Johnson as mayor. Yeah, I know he's going to be a one-term mayor. If he is not a one-term mayor, I'm moving to Mars and I'm never coming back. Never. You guys can, I broadcast from Mars, me and the Martians. You're welcome. Just another woman says, thank you, Demetra and Donovan. Shalom, sister and brother and family. Sincerely, habla español. Pepe, and that's as much Spanish as I can speak. Exotic says, knowing multiple languages is good for your brain muscles. I don't know any. I took French in high school, and I can count in French, but that's about it. Failed both times. Anyway, thank you, Mike. Nice. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. We'll see y'all on Tuesday. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.